Okay, so today we're going to make waffle cones. Pretty simple, straightforward, short day. So it took us about 6 months to come up with a waffle cone recipe that really worked. And using all the ingredients that we had, like I really want to use egg whites because we made a lot of egg whites when we make ice cream, so I don't want those to go to waste. And also the first iterations of waffle cones that we came up with, they were very brittle. They couldn't hold the ice cream scoop inside it. So it took us about 6 months of tweaking to get to this point where you know, we can scoop ice cream and it can hold, you know, a pretty hefty scoop without breaking and crumbling whenever we hand it to our customer. And we wanted something also that could hold, you know, up to 3 scoops, which is our 9 ounce. And there's we figured out different ways of how we can roll it to get to a point where it had a nice shape to it and it didn't leak ice cream. So yeah, it seems pretty straightforward, and it's like, of course every ice cream shop is going to have a waffle cone, but we wanted to make our own waffle cone from scratch, so it took us a while. So I'll show you that process today. So this is where we store waffle cones. At night we put we have a salt pepper shaker, and we put silica gel in here, which wicks away moisture. Moisture is the enemy of waffle cones. Yeah, and how we serve it to customer is we wrap our wax paper with our cute little drawings on it, doodles around it. So that is the vessel that we present. We love to sell to our customers like this, and so we're gonna walk through how to make this waffle cone today. Melt my butter. This is a trick I learned from my chef friend. Whenever she peels, has like leftover butter paper, she uses this to butter up her pans. We're going to use a paddle attachment for this one. Initially, when we're mixing the egg white and powdered sugar together, you can use a whisk attachment, but then after the whisk attachment, you have to change it back to paddle. So I usually just start off with the paddle. So I'm going to add egg whites and powdered sugar and vanilla extract. There are 3 key things to remember in making our waffle batter. And number 1 is all the powdered sugar needs to be incorporated into the egg whites before anything else goes into it. So I'm gonna actually stop it, and this is how is there's like the paddle doesn't reach all the way down to the edge of the bowl, so you always want to make sure that you're not leaving like a layer of unmixed ingredients at the very bottom. So always take it off and give it another stir and let it go again. Second rule is the butter and the cream can't touch each other, can't go in at the same time. One has to be incorporated completely into the batter before the other one goes in, because it's too much trouble to teach front of house people that this needs to be melted and then cooled back down to room temperature, and it's too much trouble to ask my staff to get the cream from the refrigerator an hour before. So this is cold actually, and this is warm, so we can't mix it together because the butter will seize up. So that's just a rule that we made up. Can't go in. Third rule is once the flour goes in, you can't step away, because we don't want to develop too much gluten in the flour. Then it becomes more pizza dough instead of biscuit. So you look at our batter now, it's completely like, it's a pretty creamy color. All the powdered sugar has been mixed into egg whites. So I'm adding flour to this. A lot of my staff like to add the flour in increments, just sure it goes everywhere, but I am impatient. So I'm gonna add it all at once, and I'm gonna pulse it. And while that is being incorporated, I'm going to start drizzling in the butter. And we're putting a lot of butter in, so it's going to take a while for all the butter to get incorporated. Okay, once I don't see any streaks of butter, I'm going to start adding the cream. So adding the cream came at a later point in the recipe development. The waffle batter was sticking to the waffle iron, and it was getting very annoying to make ice cream. To make waffle cones. And I was like, there is plenty of fat in here, what else do I need? And so I decided, like, maybe I need to add a different kind of fat to it. So I started just incrementally adding some cream, and at one point it was at 12 grams when this reached 12 ounces. And the waffle batter stopped sticking to the waffle iron. So got flour everywhere. Okay. Now the last bit of incorporating I'm gonna do by hand, just because I know that there's some on the bottom that haven't been incorporated. Get this off. Get all the batter off the spade. I'm going to go down the side and the very bottom. That looks pretty good. So I put some our butter wrapper on here. Kind of gets some fat on there. Okay. Get an ounce, about 1 ounce of batter on there. Takes about 40 seconds. 45 seconds. And this iron is at 360 degrees right now. Yeah, as long as it's 350 or above, it's fine. Some of our stores have units where they don't have a timer on them, and a good way to tell is, you see the steam coming off? Once it's finished, the steam will stop coming off. So that's a good indicator that the waffle's done. So even if it rang, I'm gonna wait a few more seconds because the steam is almost done. And here's our waffle. There's many ways of folding it. How I do it is I fold it over, make sure that there's a partial on the part of the end that I can crimp, and then I roll it with the crimp in it. You have about 10 seconds to roll the waffle before it starts getting rigid and starts to break. But yeah, if you do that, then you don't get any hole in the bottom. And you get a pretty nice shape. We usually refrigerate the batter a little bit before we start it. Refrigerating any batter gives like the butter a chance to recrystallize and mixes with, I don't know, something about the flour. It just makes it better. It just makes a better waffle cone. But going straight from being mixed up to waffle iron, it's just such a flat little cake that it works. Okay, steam is dwindling. Here we go. Waffle bowl is pretty easy. You just get another one and sandwich it in between. Okay, I'm going to show another way of rolling it. Sometimes we have left-handed people, but we only have a roller that's for right-handed people. So I told them just shove it in all the way and then just turn it. Just keep on shoving and turning. Means you have to do it really fast before the waffle can set at all, because see, it took too long. Well, that's for snacking. Oh good. So much lull time between. Is it possible to roll the waffle cone without having one of these like rolly things? You do need a wooden dowel though. Just place it down, fold it over, crimp the bottom, and like roll it with that crimp inside. Yeah. So it's pretty malleable until it hardens, until it cools down and then hardens. So yeah, you can make a pretty decent waffle cone without having like a professional waffle cone making things.
Here's ice cream. The waffle cone.